Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Hey. Oh yeah, I'm chilling out in the backyard today. How you feeling? Fantastic human beings. How y'all feeling? Fantastic human beings, how you feeling? Today is October 17th. And when you add it all together, do you know that it breaks down to the number 16, which is a 7, which I found it very ironic. This is a very good book to get if you ever get a chance. This book right here, Colon Health, the Key to a Vibrant Life. You can regain the vitality of your youth. Very good book to have it's an old book written by Norman W. Walker, but it's a very simple book too. It doesn't even have that many pages, but simplicity is what we need today to help us understand the importance of dietary health. And in numerology, or the study of numbers, and you know, me being a numerovator, my job is to help motivate you with your numbers. The title is Your Colon Cares. And then I break down the numbers of the word colon. The word colon in the Pythagorean system adds up to 23, which is a 5. In the older system of numerology, it adds up to a 25, which is a 7. In my book called, two of my books, Children's Health is Important, Numbers Are Simple, Children's Health is Important, and Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. Those two books in particularly. But the health book, directly to children and adults, covers the different ailments that you could attract under every number from 0 all the way to 31 for a reason. Because from 1 all the way to 31, people are either born through those frequencies of the 1 to 31 of any month. So it's interesting that in the Pythagorean system that the 23 is the number that it adds up to a number 5, because in numerology, the number 2 is a health number that deals with the colon or the stomach area. And then the 3 deals with the nerves. And if you know anything about the nerve endings are connected to the stomach. So even when you go through nervous depression, or you're eating bad because of nervous anxiety and all that, because 3 and 5 rules anxiety on different levels. So if you're going through any anxiety or nervous issues, it could also lead to stomach health. So I dubbed this your colon cares, because in order for you to have a good colon, you also have to realize that the colon is its own brain, according to many of the health practitioners of the past. Even, I heard Brother KT speak about the colon being its own brain. It operates in its own atmosphere. So once you understand, now the numbers shows me this, because in the Chaldean system, the 25 again is the number of the colon, the number 2, and 5 is another form of the nerve engine, nerve number, because 3 and 5 are nerve number, but it adds up to number 7. And in my book, I talk about the number 7 also being a colon or stomach number, where it deals with the possibilities of attracting colon issues or stomach issues due to people overthinking or worrying. And worrying can lead down the path of nervous issues and depression also. So it is important that you understand the numbers, but also understand the workings of the colon. That's why I showed you this book, Colon Health, because the simplicity of this book, it's the pictures, everything is very simple. Again, it's called Colon Health. Colon Health, the key to a vibrant life. You can regain your vitality of your youth by examining and applying the necessary reversal effect to your colon. And because colon adds up to 25, which is a 7, remember 25 in compound numerology is the number of observation and listening, because you can listen and observe what's going on with your colon. You can listen and observe what is going on with your colon, so you can make the necessary take the necessary steps to reverse the effects of any colon problem happening within your own being. Because before there was hospitals and doctors, you or we and our ancestors had to understand and understand how to work with the colon, or how to work with different parts of your body, and learning how to recognize different ailments that can come upon you during those times. So the word adds up to 23, and 23 in numerology is the royal star of the lion and the lioness, according to the science, which is one of the most successful numbers, but it's alerting you about not only the possible health issues that if you're not royal to yourself, if you don't have a royal awareness of who you are, because it's the royal, it's the number of the royal stars, the royal lion or the lioness. If you don't have a royal understanding or respect your body as something royal, your body is a royal apparatus that we use, that the spirit and the soul uses to move about in this realm. So if you don't respect your body as the royal lion or lioness, and we know that lions and lionesses are some of the most powerful beings or entities or animals in the jungle, one of the most powerful entities in the jungle. And if you don't respect your body as something royal, and you go down the nerve-wracking road by starting to destroy your stomach or your colon, because all of it is connected. All of it is connected, the intestinal tract, everything. And today being the 17, which is the 8 rules the intestinal tract. So it's very important. I only came on here to come on briefly, but pay attention to brothers and sisters that teach about colon health. Dr. Africa taught about colon health. Dr. Sabi taught about colon health. KT, the Arch Degree, talks about colon health. Yaki talks about colon health. Malika Ali talks about colon health. Ma'a from Fig Tree, she talks about colon health. Annette Thomas talks about colon health. All the young people that are coming up to understanding the importance of recognizing their diet. Because at 14, your brother, King Simon, recognized the importance of colon health only because of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad through the 5% Nation. So how to eat to live was one of my beginning walks. But in a family that is Jamaican or have that Rasta background, you get inklings of health and ital food and ital stew and all these different things. So I was getting an inkling of it because we came out of the Caribbeans that promoted, the eating of mango and the eating of sweet sap or sour sap and having leaves and roots and all that. In my aunt's backyard, we had sugar cane growing right in the backyard. In my grandfather's backyard, we had mango and sweet sap and sugar and sour sap and everything growing on in the backyard. That sometimes in the morning we would just go and eat a mango, climb the tree and eat the mango. My grandfather would climb or use a stick and take down the sweets, the sour sap, and juice the sour sap in the morning for us while we was visiting in Jamaica, visiting his house. And then they would cut sugar cane and get the sugar cane from the backyard from my aunt's house. And so we was introduced to a lot of the health factors through our youth. But it wasn't until 14 years of age, going into my 15, going through my rites of passage of understanding who I am, is when I tapped into the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings through the 5% Nation of the great Clarence 13X, who was also known as Allah or Puddin on the streets. So your colon cares, and your colon cares when it starts to rumble. It's letting you know something is either going on or something is going through your system. Or if you start to vomit, your body lets you know that there's something you put in your body that either is going to be defecated out, or you're going to throw it up, or you're going to pass it through your sweat glands or whatever, or your urinary gland. Your body lets you know that you have to pay attention to your health by any and all means necessary. Every plant life, every animal life out there in the backyard, I see the spiders doing their thing. I see the ants doing their things. I see other bugs that I don't even know what the hell they are. I don't even know their name, doing their thing. And every one of them has a dietary regimen. And some of us are supposed to follow what they call the circadian rhythm and all that. Some people follow it, some people don't. But your body, especially your body and your colon will let you know if you're following it to the right degree or not. It will constipate itself. It will lock up. You will not be able to defecate for 2-3 days because you didn't follow the rhythm. So it's important. It's important to train your children and your nieces and your nephews and your grandchildren to eat properly. And if they're going to eat the garbage, you got to probably flush their system once a week. They might not like castor oil. They might not like olive oil. They might not like any of those oils that can probably push it and lubricate the internal parts of your system. Some people say don't drink oil, but oil is something that we already have in our body anyway, that helps to move things through. We are naturally oil people if we take care of our health. The sun also brings out the oil. I can feel the oil or the sweat glands bringing out the oil right here on top of my head as I'm in the sun, because the sun is a puller. The sun will pull what's not needed through your pores. So yeah, I'm sitting in the sun for a reason, to help with that colon health. And sometimes I'll lift my shirt up and show the sun my stomach and let that heat beat down on that stomach to pull whatever needs to be pulled out. And if you have a private backyard, brothers and sisters should show their genitals into the sun. Let the sun hug it, because the sun and its heat is a healing, but it's a pulling force. It's there to detoxify. So sometimes you got to spread your legs in the sun. Put your balls and your phallic symbol in the sun. Or ladies, put your yoni or your vajayjay in the sun and shine it. Somebody says facts. Yes. I mean, hey, you don't have to believe me. It's not a fact until you've done the necessary study and research for yourself. But I have done my own studies and my own research and applied it to myself. Because some things work for people. Some people can't stick their balls or their vagina in the sun. Some people never get a chance. Somebody will never get a chance. But getting back to the colon, how your vaginal liquids and your penis liquids come out is what you're eating, what your diet is all about. So you have to be, go take advice. Go take advice from people that are actually studying and applying, or that have actually studied and applying. And this gentleman who wrote this book was very good at studying and applying. His name is Norman W. Walkers. And any book by Dr. Laila Africa, any book by Queen Afua, those were practitioners. Some believe that Dr. Sebi was a practitioner. So they left at their time, and they left at the appropriate time for us to carry on and add on to their message of African holistic health. That's what he offered to the world. And once you recognize that offering, it is, the video pause. Once you recognize that offering, it's important that you add on. You don't have to take away from your elders. They only gave us what they studied at their time. You don't have to take away from Dr. Sebi. You don't have to take away from Dr. Goss. You don't have to take away from Dr. Africa. Add on. Build the blocks, because they had what they had for their particular time and was able to educate us with what they had at that particular time. And it's time for us, the younger generation, or the ones that are coming up, to help teach it. That's why I admire what Yaki is doing. I admire what Sister Melanie is doing. I admire what Dr. Melanie is doing. I admire what Queen Afua is doing, and all those that have joined the Sacred Woman movement. Dr. Phil Valentine, what he's done in health, and his wife, Dr. Nalani. Dr. Nalani just came through something major. And by being a holistic practitioner, she was able to get through it. And she's coming out with a book about that very soon. So look out for that book. Things like Dr. Moore is doing, Shakira Moore is doing, the late great John E. Moore. He was also doing. He was called the herbal hobo. He was traveling from state to state, showing you what you can eat on the streets, not only of New York but Jersey, and anywhere you went. Anywhere he went, he was able to find food that was conducive to the environment and being able to eat. Let me show y'all something. And I've been studying this around this backyard for a little bit. Let me show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all something. There's an herb here. I did the research. You call it, yeah, we might call it cloves. Might call it clovers and all that kind of stuff. But this particular herb, did you know it is good for glaucoma and it's good for feminine issues? That's this particular plant right here. I believe they call it weed and they kill off the weed. But these things are good for blood and all that type of stuff right in your own backyard. Look at that. Right in your own backyard. So I can go through this whole backyard. I found a few things. They got the grape seed. They got grapes. A lot of stuff growing back here that if you wanted to pick and store and use it, hey, guess what? Pick and store and use it, especially because you're in the backyard. You know your backyard. You know your backyard better than anybody. So take the time out, family, to realize that your colon cares. And the mathematical frequency of those colon is the number 5 and the number 7. 7 is a dietary, one of the numbers that deals with the stomach issues. If you don't learn to avoid worry and don't worry yourself, because if you worry yourself, it could also lead to stomach issues. But anytime you see 2 and 5 combination or 2 and 3 combination, since the word colon adds up to 23 and the word colon in the Chaldean system adds up to the number 25, anytime you see 2 as a leading number, when it comes to words dealing with health, remember the number 2 deals with the digestive system. The number 3 and 5 deals with the nervous system. So I'm just showing you how numbers can work. And if you choose to use it appropriately as a guiding apparatus, it can be very helpful to alert you on what you need to do with your own numbers. And if you have a certain amount of these numbers in your chart, then it's a possibility that you can attract certain ailments relating and connected to those numbers after studying the pattern, cycles, and sequences of those numbers. All right. So family, remember, I do have a class coming up. It's called Applied Numerovation, and it's happening on October 28th. It's a ascended master class. It is now $55, and it's like Lloyd Strayhorn said on the show, that is dirt cheap, because he know the wisdom, and I really want the 50 people to show up, and people are buying tickets slowly but surely, and I understand. That's how we do. But I'm only allowing 50 people in this private class, because I'm not going to upload it and show it eventually later on down. No, it's going to be for those people that took the time out, who really want to study and learn. I'm already preparing the PowerPoint, and I'm also preparing myself to do the chalkboard or the whiteboard breakdown. I'm looking at the chalkboard because sometimes the whiteboard the ink itself can be a little crazy. But I'm looking at the chalkboard, because the chalkboard I can get in and have some fun. And it's happening on October 28th. That's October 28th from 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 2 p.m. Right before the God Power 2 workshop with Billy Carson, and the day before them. So, like Dr. B. Serious and Billy, they tell you it's so important. The numbers are so important. And I am going to teach you from a perspective of helping you to navigate, activate, and maximize your numbers for yourself. It's not just about me. If you have to come to me, and any of my clients know me, there are a lot of clients always come to me and say, how many times should I do this a year, or should I do it every month? I say, I really want you to learn it for yourself. I don't want you to bother me all the time. Only if there is an emergency and you feel that you can't, it's hard, because sometimes it is, like Lloyd said on his show yesterday, it is hard to read yourself or break down or advise yourself. It's not hard for me no more, because what I've learned to do, and I will show y'all how to do it for yourself. I learned to write down my name, my full name, and all the extra names that I have, and I break down those numbers, and and what I do is learn how to be objective when looking at my name. I look at my name on a piece of paper, because once you put it on a piece of paper, you look at it like it's a client. You look at it like it's somebody you need to help. And if you look at it like it's somebody you need to help, then you apply it to yourself, because you know that's your name on the paper. And then you start working at it, working at whatever the name means, the first, middle, last name means, whatever the birthday means. You start working at it. You can look in your books and see what's the positive of that number and the negative of number. What are some of the positive patterns and cycles and sequences that you've attracted over the years with that number, and some of the ones that you want to get. Some of the negative things that you've attracted with that number. That's how powerful being able to observe yourself objectively. It's about being objective, not subjective, being objective, and looking at that piece of paper with your name and your birthday on it and saying, boom, I know exactly what I need to do with my numbers. Do I fall off every now and then? Of course I fall off every now and then. Sometimes we get lazy. Sometimes we don't feel like doing that work. Sometimes. But sometimes you got to kick your own self in your backside. Like Reverend Ike said, get your butt out of your way. Get your own big butt. And if you got a big butt, ladies, get your big butt out of the way. Stop holding yourself back. Brothers, you got a butt. Kick your own butt in the way. Kick your butt and say, hey, come on, let's keep on moving. Let's keep on doing it. Y'all got to do these 100 push-ups. I got to do this pull-ups. I got to do whatever. Even when you're working out in the gym, why people go to gym and don't want to do it by themselves like I do. I do it by myself in the backyard. I really don't like gyms like that. Anybody that know me, my gym is my backyard. I like my gym. I can do leg raises on this. I can climb trees and do tree yoga. I do pull-ups on this tree right here. This is why I do pull-ups on the limbs of this tree. I asked the tree if I could pull up on it first. Then they will allow me without breaking and hurting my ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you respect the tree. Respect the tree now. Respect the tree. And if you respect the tree will respect you. The land is clean. I set up a little obstacle course to walk on the fallen tree over there. I got little rocks where I jump from one rock to another. Then I touch each tree. I might give a tree a hug, and then ask them to hit the tree so I can do my martial arts training on each tree. All of them are my friend. I got 23 trees back here. Right here, just in this facility right here, there's 23 trees, and those trees are my royal stars of guidance. When I need to find out something that's happening to the earth, guess what? I give it a hug. I give the biggest tree in the middle of them is that big one right there in the middle. I give that tree a hug, or I'll feed that tree if I want to find out something that's going on in this neighborhood. I found that out that it works when I was about to move. From my perspective, I don't care about anybody else's perspective. It helped me to move down here. One of the reasons I moved down here is because I stayed in this house a couple months before I moved here, because it's owned by a friend of mine and she rents the house to me. I went to sleep in the room, and that night I was still in the bed, but all the fan, the wooden fan, the wooden bureau, the wooden dresser, all the things in the room turned into tree branches, and they was all pulling towards me as they wanted to embrace me. They wanted to give me a hug, or they was pulling towards me in the dream, but I was still in the room. So that's what allowed me to say that I need to move down here, because after feeding and hugging these trees, those trees revealed themselves to me and allowed me to make my way down to Georgia. So Oh, I got a story behind everything. I got a story behind. I'm like Bill Bellamy. I got a story behind everything. You know what I'm saying? So, family, have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be loving of yourself. Be loving of your health. Be loving of every organ of your body. Say to your body that I love it. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Did you ever wonder if your birth date holds information about your destiny? Why you keep seeing the same number or several numbers? Welcome to Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. I am your host, King Simon. Numbers are not here to control you, they're here to give you guidance. It's time for you to be able to read the numbers. Some people think that this esoteric knowledge is for the rich and the powerful, when in actuality, the so-called 85% has a spark in them that if it is sparked through numerology, astrology, motivation, whatever, it will raise them up from an 85%, maybe to a 10%, and eventually they become the 5%. Poor or prosperous righteous teachers. You gotta understand that this knowledge is not just for one class of people. We gotta get out of the class.
this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now. It's the Numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022, and get my books on Amazon now.